Welcome to UK Care World, a free learning space for care and support workers across the UK. Here, you'll find courses, tips, and resources in text, audio, and video, designed to help you grow in your role and make a difference every day.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to all you care workers and support care workers. We've put together this training explainer to give you a much deeper understanding of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. Our goal today is to give you both the knowledge and some really practical strategies to better support the individuals in your care. You know, this quote, it just perfectly captures that feeling of constant internal conflict that so many people with ADHD live with every single day. Now, from the outside, it can look pretty confusing, right? But it all stems from very real brain-based differences. So throughout this session, we're going to unpack exactly why this is and what that means for the vital role that you play. All right, let's get right into it. To provide truly effective support, we have to start with a clear and accurate foundation. So first things first, let's establish what ADHD actually is and, just as importantly, what it is not. Okay, let's be really clear on this. ADHD is a recognized medical condition. It has to do with how the brain develops and its chemistry. And, this isn't some new thing. Doctors have actually been observing these traits since the early 1900s. The key thing to grasp is that we've moved on from seeing it as just a behavior problem. We now recognize it as a challenge with the brain's core management system. There are so many myths out there that can really get in the way of proper understanding. So let's just clear a few of them up. Because when we see the reality, it helps us provide care that's not only more effective, but also more compassionate. ADHD is absolutely not a choice or a failure of willpower. It's a neurological reality. So now we're getting to the real heart of the matter, how ADHD affects what we call the brain's executive functions. The best way to think about these is as the brain's own self-management system, kind of like its CEO. We're going to use a few simple analogies to really explore what's happening when this system just works differently. The name attention deficit is actually pretty misleading. The core problem isn't a total lack of attention. Far from it. The real challenge is the profound difficulty in controlling or regulating that attention, getting it to focus where it needs to for as long as it needs to. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's the perfect illustration of that all or nothing focus. Attention can feel completely scattered, jumping from one random thought to the next. Or it can lock on with this incredibly intense focus, like a dial cranked all the way up to 15. But finding that stable middle ground for just, normal everyday tasks, that's the real struggle. For a person with ADHD, the world can be an incredibly loud place. It's like their brain's filter is turned way down, making it incredibly difficult to screen out all the external stuff, sights, sounds, and even internal distractions like random thoughts. Everything seems to be coming in at the same volume. This is just a perfect analogy. See, a neurotypical brain secretary is pretty good at telling distractions to wait outside. But the ADHD brain secretary, well, they might just throw the doors open and let a dropped pen, a car alarm, and a random memory all barge into the meeting at once. Or, when they're hyper-focused, that same secretary might lock the door, put on headphones, and not even hear you knocking. Okay, this next one is so important, and it's often misunderstood. We're not talking about long-term memory, like remembering things from childhood. Working memory is more like the brain's temporary notepad. It's that mental space you use to hold on to information while you're actually using it. And this just explains it brilliantly, because that mental whiteboard fills up so fast. Information can literally get erased just moments after it's been heard. This is exactly why someone might ask you to repeat something you just said, or they forget the second half of an instruction, or they just lose their train of thought right in the middle of a sentence. The thought was just wiped away. Now, this difficulty with filtering, it doesn't just apply to sights and sounds, it applies to emotions too. For individuals with ADHD, feelings can arrive with a sudden, overwhelming intensity. It can feel like a flash flood, making it incredibly hard to keep things in perspective. Wow. That sunburn analogy? It really gets to the heart of it. It explains why sometimes a reaction might seem way out of proportion to you. A small frustration can feel like a huge surge of anger. A minor criticism can feel deeply hurtful. It's not about being oversensitive. It's about the brain processing that emotional hit with much less of a filter. So, we've talked about what's happening inside the brain. Now, let's connect the dots to the behaviors you might actually observe day to day in your role as a care worker or a support care worker. This is where all that understanding turns into practice. These three areas, inattention, impulsivity, and restlessness, are really just the outward signs of those executive function challenges we've been talking about. And it's so important to remember that restlessness isn't always something you can see. It can be a completely internal feeling, a mind that is just racing and simply will not switch off. Ah, yes, the big one. This is the question that everybody asks. And you know what? It's a completely fair question, because on the surface, it seems like a total contradiction, doesn't it? The answer lies in one of the most misunderstood parts of ADHD, a phenomenon called hyperfocus. So here is the crucial point. Hyperfocus isn't the exception to the rule, it is part of the rule. When a task is super stimulating or rewarding, like a video game, it floods the brain with a chemical called dopamine. That's what allows the brain to lock on. The problem is, everyday tasks, the boring, routine stuff, they don't provide that same chemical reward, so the brain struggles to engage. It has absolutely nothing to do with willpower. Okay, so now that we've got a better handle on the what and the why, let's get to the most important part, the how. How can you help? Let's turn all this understanding into action with some practical, respectful strategies that can make a massive difference. When it comes to communication, patience is everything. These three simple steps can help you bridge that gap created by the challenges with attention and working memory. It's about making sure your message isn't just heard, but that it's actually received and processed successfully. Your goal here is to help provide a kind of external structure. Think of it like building scaffolding for the brain. Since the internal organization system has its challenges, you're helping create a reliable structure on the outside. These tools don't fix anything, but they create systems that reduce the mental load and can make a world of difference. And if you take away only one thing from our session today, please let it be this. Your role is to be a supportive ally, a partner. You empower the individual by providing tools and genuine understanding, and that's what fosters their independence and self-esteem. It's a partnership, and it has to be built on a foundation of respect. Thank you so much for your time and for your dedication to providing such thoughtful care. As we finish up, I'll leave you with a question to reflect on. What is one insight you've gained today that might change an interaction you have with someone, maybe even later today? We would genuinely love to hear your thoughts or any questions you might have in the comments below.
Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe to UK Care World for more free training videos for care workers. Keep learning, keep caring, and we'll see you in the next video.